Hey, my name is Samar. I also go by Sam or First Time Panner. Any of those you want to call me, you can. This will be my update for my No Pan Left Behind series. And if this is your first time seeing a video in this series, I basically am trying to use every single pan of eyeshadow, at least in my palettes, in my entire collection in the year of 2024. Also, sorry if you can hear background noise. I have my window open, but also I have my fan on me and my air filter going, so you might hear a lot in the background. But basically every month I come back and update you on the palettes that I used in the past month, and then tell you about the palettes that I'm planning on using in the next month. And hopefully I'll be able to use all the pans in each of the palettes that I'm planning on using. And since up until April, I was able to use all of the pans in each of the palettes that I've chosen for every month, and I'm happy to say I have also been able to do that for April. And this past month I had 5 palettes in, 5 small or medium-sized palettes, and those were the Dose of Colors Blushing Berries, which is what I have on my eyes today, the Sigma Earthy, the Milani Gilded Mini in Whiskey Business, ColourPop Big Poppy, and Sephora I Love Bloom. The first 2 that I'll talk about are the ones that I brought on vacation with me in April, and that is the Sephora I Love Bloom Dahlia and the Sigma Earthy. I was only gone for a week, so I figured just bringing these 2 eyeshadow palettes was definitely going to be enough, and it was. While I was there, I was able to use all of the earthy palette at least once, and I'm pretty sure I used Harmony twice because I was using this as a lid setting shade, and then I'll have like the different looks I did on the screen. But yeah, I really enjoyed using this, and I think total it took me 3 different eye looks. No, it was 4 different eye looks because I did one with Canyon, Moss, Wild, and Wanderlust, the like 4 main lid shimmers, and then I used Will-O-Wisp as an inner corner highlight. I really love this palette. I mean, every Sigma palette that I have I love, but I love green eyeshadow, and I feel like March and April are really the 2 months where I love to wear bright green makeup specifically, so I enjoyed using this. I also of course had to bring on vacation my Dahlia palette because this is my go-to vacation or like travel palette. If you've been watching my channel at all before, you would know that like I bring this almost every time I travel, but especially when I travel in spring. Even though I feel like this could be a spring or a fall palette, for some reason I just love this for spring. I don't know. But I was able to use every shade in here except for these 2 like reddish shades while I was there, because not because I didn't have time to use it, but because I was visiting family a lot. Pretty much in my entire extended family, I'm like the only one who wears lots of makeup, but especially bold makeup, so I kind of didn't want to scare them with the reds. Yeah, I loved having this palette for travel. There's not too much to say about this because I talk about this so much, but I really loved having this for different warm and cool tone looks, and it's just such a great palette in general, and the formula is great. It's all cream to powder. I could go on and on, so I'm gonna stop here. 2 palettes that I had a lot of fun using with other eyeshadow singles were my Milani Gilded Mini palette and the Color Scheme Whiskey Business, and then my ColourPop Big Poppy palette. Both of these are all matte palettes, so I was able to kind of like get some, I'm looking at my like singles palettes, so I was able to get a lot of use on those, especially my Terra Moon shades, because most of them I have not used before, and I've had them for quite a few months now, so I really did want to get use on them. I'll start with talking about my Milani palette. Before putting this in this project, I had never used it before. I bought this when, I think I mentioned this like in my last update for this series. I bought this when my I Love You a Latte palette from e.l.f. When I decluttered it, and that was like kind of my go-to all matte brown palette for travel and kind of like pairing with other single eyeshadows, or like as a go-to companion palette just in case I ever needed something. So that's why I bought this palette, and it was like on sale and it was like new. So I kind of just, it was like an impulse buy, but I hadn't used it, and I think that was because I also have other all matte brown palettes, so I really didn't need this palette in hindsight. But since I have it, of course I wanted to get use on it, and it was decent. I don't like drugstore eyeshadow, so I shouldn't have bought this in the first place, but it wasn't bad. Like, I would say it's definitely not as great of a formula as like a high-end palette, because high-end shadows, just in my opinion, are like across the board better than drugstore. They just always have better formula. But this isn't bad, so I'm gonna keep it. There's no reason to declutter it, and I'll probably bring this with me going forward as my go-to companion like brown matte palette for travel, because I don't like to bring my like expensive or like special discontinued palettes when I travel, just in case they break or my luggage gets lost. So moving forward, that's probably how I'll use this, but I'm glad I got use on it finally, and I got to use some of my singles, and also some of my I paired it with my pumpkin pie quad that's in my project Level Up. So yeah, I got some pretty good use on this. My ColourPop Big Poppy was another one that I paired with a lot of my Terra Moon singles and also my pumpkin pie quad, since that has like a very orange leaning neutral warm brown. It's like almost orange, so it paired pretty well with some of the colors in here. And I was wearing a lot of orange this past month as well, so I really enjoyed having this in like my palette rotation. Orange is my favorite color. I don't wear it as eyeshadow too often. Like, I would say as far as makeup, my favorite colors are purple and green, but in general my favorite color is orange. So I did have a lot of fun using this, and it's just like a really fun palette for spring. The one thing I would say that's like a downside to this palette is pretty much all of my looks ended up kind of turning out the same, because once you get these on your eye, I would say like each row, like this top row, the middle row, and the bottom row, they all look the same across the rows they're in. So this honestly could have been like a 3-pan palette, and you probably could have gotten the same outcome. But regardless, I still love the palette, and I love the packaging. I almost dropped it, but I didn't. I'm not gonna drop anything in this video. The last palette that I had in was my Dose of Colors Blushing Berries palette, and this was another all matte palette, and I did pair this again with a single. It took me 2 uses to use all the shades in this palette. I'm wearing it right now. The first look that I did was with the first 3 shadows. As you can see, this is an all matte look, so I used the first 3 shadows on my eye, and then I topped it with one of my shadows from Terra Moons. And then in the look that I'm wearing right now, of course I'm wearing the other 2 eyeshadows. So I started with this like really dark berry color all over my eye and lower lash line. Then I tried using this black to just deepen up the outer corner, but it's a lot more pigmented than I remembered it being, so it kind of took over the whole look, but I actually like the way it ended up. I'm gonna take this off as soon as I finish filming anyway, so it doesn't matter that it's really bold. I really like the way it turned out, and just as I remembered, Dose of Colors has an amazing formula. I would say pretty confidently Dose of Colors has, as far as colorful mattes, the best formula, because every single one of these berry tones blended out perfectly. I didn't struggle with them at all, and that's really hard to do with color, especially I feel like purples and like burgundies or berries, they are very hard to formulate for some reason, but this was super easy. I didn't set my eyeshadow primer or anything, so I'm happy with this. And then I'm wearing this e.l.f. lip crown for the first time because I thought it went the best with my eye look out of everything that I was panning right now. I kind of like this entire look that I put together. But anyway, I'm gonna stop talking about that so I can move on to the stack of palettes that I have for May. As you can see, I have this huge Norvina Pro palette, which is why I only have 4 eyeshadow palettes. This one is gonna take me a very long time to use, and I've also never used it before, so I'm a little bit nervous but also very, very excited. It's like 90% purple. This is what the palette looks like. It's gigantic. It has 25 shades. I will link my eyeshadow palette tag, which at the time of filming this, because I'm filming this early, that was my last video I uploaded, so click on that if you'd like to see a few swatches from this and if you want to hear me talk about this, because this was my answer for one of the prompts, and I did some swatches of like random colors in here. I'm excited to use this. This is also going to be my May palette bingo palette. So every month, April, May, June, and July, I'm going to be doing a palette bingo. And the last one, which I'll also link below, was my Lorac Fairy Tale Forest. And this time it's going to be my ABH Norvina Volume 5. The one I'm holding, because that's the one that you all voted on. So yeah, pretty much expect that video to be my first impressions of this palette and first time using this palette. There's not much to say other than that. I'm just really excited because, as I said, I love purple eyeshadow and purple makeup, so yeah, I can't wait. I mean, really, I can wait because I am not going to use this until I film my palette bingo. So until I do that, I have these 3 palettes, and that is my Dose of Colors 9 Years Later, my ColourPop Fresh Greens, and my Juvia's Place The Berries. So I'll talk about this one first. This one is a bit different from my Dose of Colors Blushing Berries palette. Obviously this one doesn't have a black. It's 6 pans instead of 5, and it has a mix of mattes and shimmers or metallics. And I do remember really liking this palette, but I have to be honest, I haven't used this in a while. I didn't use this all of 2023. So I'm going to have to reacquaint myself with this palette. I'm sure it's not going to take me a long time at all. I doubt it'll take me longer than 2 uses because there's only 6 shades in here. But I am kind of excited. I did mention this in my, not my eyeshadow palette tag, but my palette wardrobe tag, which I will link down below. You have a lot of options as far as what to watch on my channel, but I did mention this in my palette wardrobe tag as kind of like a birthday palette for myself, which is why I'm putting it in for May, because my birthday is in May. Whether or not I actually use this on my birthday, we'll just have to see. I do have plans for the actual day of my birthday, so I don't know if I want to like go out in bright pink makeup. Not that I wouldn't, or not that I haven't before, but I don't really like having eyes on me. So I don't know if I want to be going out in public like that. I'm excited to use this again, especially I've been wanting to see if this purple is as good as I remember. I always say that, and I mean, I think I said it in this video too, purple is like the hardest matte to formulate, and I remember this being the best one out of my entire collection, but just because it's the best, is it actually good? So I actually do really want to see if this is as good as I remember it to be. Next, my ColourPop Fresh Greens. The other palette that I mentioned in my palette wardrobe tag for my birthday palette was my, I believe it was my Sigma Earthy, but I said this one because I love green eyeshadow, and this is another green eyeshadow palette that I could potentially wear on my birthday. I feel like I'm really pigeonholing myself into either wearing like berry or green eyeshadow on my birthday. This might become a trend for myself. I might have to wear these colors every birthday for the rest of my life now. This is another palette that I have not ever used. I just recently bought this towards the end of last year, and this was another impulse buy at Target because it was new and on sale. Target always has like deals on their new stuff. So which is how I ended up with the Milani palette. So this, I mean, I've never used this, but I don't regret buying this because I think the color story is really beautiful, and it's like just an amazing palette, or at least like color story for spring. I really like the like kind of pastel greens over here, but then also the muddy greens on this side, because spring is like that new birth of, you know, plant life, but also it's kind of like the old dead plant life and the like old snow slush. I don't know, there's like two sides of spring, and I feel like this palette represents both of them. And it's just a beautiful palette in general, so I'm really excited to use this. I have a Dose of Colors eyeshadow palette in almost every single month because I have like about 10 eyeshadow palettes from Dose of Colors. So the one for May will be the 9 Years Later palette. This one is definitely my least favorite Dose of Colors eyeshadow palette, specifically because of the formula. This was like a special edition eyeshadow palette. It was this one and the 9 years ago, that's what it's called. The 9 Years Ago palette and the 9 Years Later were like special edition ones for Dose of Colors 9-year anniversary. And this palette is definitely it has a different formula from the like 5-pan matte palettes, and also their new form of palettes like the She's a 10 or the Trevor, which I'm assuming is the same formula because it has the same design as the She's a 10. But these ones were different, and the formula is just not there, or like the quality is not there because of the formula. This isn't bad enough for me to declutter. It's still like, as long as you kind of finesse it, you can still make it work and create really, really beautiful kind of like simpler eyeshadow looks. So I definitely still like it. I think the colors are really pretty, and this is great for if you just want something like very understated, and like if you're going for a simple look. So this is what I'll be using this time. Sorry, this keeps like reflecting light. I don't think this is gonna take me too long to use because it's only 9 shades. And I've also used this No Pan Left Behind before in a different project last year, so I kind of already have an idea of how I want to use this in my head, but we'll just have to see how this goes. And that's it for all the palettes that I'll be using in May. So I won't be using any of these palettes until May. I break these up by calendar month. I am filming this. I usually film my No Pan Left Behind updates on the 1st of the month, or sometimes the 2nd if I'm running late. But as I said, I am filming this early because I finished using all my palettes early for April, and I'm kind of behind on filming, so I kind of just want to get back on track. So I'm not gonna cheat, and I'm not going to use any of these palettes until May. Until then, I'll find some other stuff to use, but wish me luck to be able to actually get through all of these in the month of May, specifically the Norvina palette, because this thing is giant and it's just like a lot of purple. So I'm gonna have to be wearing purple nearly non-stop, like purple or berry nearly non-stop, because that's like all 3 of these palettes. Thank you so much for watching. Here's my candle for May. It's literally the Emerald / May candle. I think I got it from Target. This is my birthstone, which is why I bought it. That's it for this video. I will just see you in my next one. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day.